Have you ever felt totally manipulated or just completely drained by someone in your life? Well, if you have, this explainer is for you. We're going to build your personal defense strategy against those kinds of difficult people. And it all starts with day one.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. First up, we need to talk about that awful feeling of being played. We got to understand the tactics they use.
You know the feeling, right? You think you have a person figured out. You might even trust them. And then, bam, they do something that leaves you feeling completely bewildered, maybe betrayed, or even just helpless. It's this really disorienting feeling that can seriously make you question yourself.
And here's the thing you have to understand. That feeling of being blindsided, it's not an accident. It is 100% a deliberate tactic. Manipulative people are absolute masters of disguise, and their real power comes from that element of surprise, from confusing you and pulling you right into a drama where they hold all the cards.
So how do they do it? Well, they've got a pretty specific playbook. First, they hit you with the charm and the flattery. It's all designed to get you to lower your guard. Then, they start applying this constant pressure. They just overwhelm you with their presence until it's actually hard to think straight. And finally, when you can't ignore their behavior anymore, they're ready with some elaborate cover story, or my favorite, a handy scapegoat to blame. It is a calculated cycle designed to keep you permanently off balance.
All right, so if that's what they do, what about you? How do you possibly protect yourself from all that? Let's talk about your greatest defense. It's a proactive strategy, and it changes the entire game.
See, your real power isn't in arguing with them or trying to beat them at their own game. No way. It's in recognizing the game before it even begins. Just like the quote says, your best defense is to spot them ahead of time. Your strength is in quiet observation, not loud confrontation.
And think of it like this. This isn't a passive thing. By seeing them for who they really are before they can make their move, you take away their two favorite weapons, surprise and intimidation. You don't get angry, you don't get confused, you just see them. And in that moment of clarity, you've basically already won.
Now, to get really good at this skill of identification, we need to know exactly what we're looking for. So, let's do a little case study. We're going to zoom in on one of the most common and disruptive, toxic types out there, the deep narcissist.
This right here gets to the absolute heart of the matter. Everything a deep narcissist does, every single action, comes from this one core vulnerability. They have no stable internal sense of who they are. They're like a void, and they are completely dependent on your attention just to feel real.
And that inner emptiness, it's what fuels all their actions. So this isn't about making some snap judgment. It's about spotting these patterns over time. You'll start to notice how any little challenge is met with this massive rage. You'll see how prickly they are, how they take everything personally, and how every single conversation somehow, magically, loops right back to them. They are masters of playing the victim to get your sympathy, all while hiding behind this mask of extreme confidence. And this is where it gets really chilling. This is how they see the world. To a deep narcissist, other people aren't really people. You are what's called a self-object. You're just an extension of them, kind of like an arm or a leg. Your only purpose is to do a job for them. Give them attention and validation. You're a tool, not a person.
Now, it's super important to add a layer of nuance here. This isn't just a black and white thing. The truth is, most of us exist somewhere on what you could call the functional narcissist side of the spectrum. We have a pretty solid sense of self, which lets us focus on things like our work and our relationships. The deep narcissist is totally different. They don't have that foundation at all, which is what makes their behavior so relentless and, well, so destructive.
Okay, so you've got the intel. You can see the patterns. Now what? What's your first move? Let's talk about your day one mission, which is all about turning that identification into real power.
And here is the beautiful part. This is the real game changer. See, they have a script written for you, and in that script, you get angry, you get defensive, you get emotional. When you just refuse to play that part, when you simply stay calm, you break their entire script. And trust me, it will infuriate them, because it proves their little tactics have absolutely no power over you.
You gotta remember, their whole act is built on this myth of confidence and power. But now, you see the truth behind it. You see the glaring weaknesses, the deep insecurities. And when you can stay calm and focused on that reality, their number one weapon, intimidation, is completely neutralized. It just doesn't work anymore.
So here it is. Your new strategy begins today. And it doesn't require some big dramatic confrontation. Not at all. It's just an internal shift. For day one, your only job is this.
Watch and listen. Recognize the patterns we've been talking about, and no matter what they throw at you to get a reaction, just stay calm. That's it. That is how you begin to outsmart them.
So the goal here isn't to go around labeling everyone you know. It's about gaining a new lens of clarity for yourself. As you start to see these patterns, just think about it. Which relationships in your life are you going to start seeing a little bit differently now? When you can just observe the game without getting sucked into the drama, that's when you reclaim your power. And that is a skill that will serve you every single day that follows.